Pope Francis has landed in Jakarta in Indonesia for the start of an historic and ambitious trip to Asia. Have a look now. These are pictures of Pope Francis being greeted at the international airport in the capital. He was given a bouquet of local produce by two children. Indonesia is the world's most populous Muslim majority country, and the Pope is due to visit a mosque and a neighbouring church during his 3 days there. The Vatican says the focus of the trip is interfaith harmony. 87-year-old Pope Francis has reduced his travel in recent years due to health problems, but this 12-day trip is his longest trip as pontiff. As well as visiting Indonesia, he will also travel to Papua New Guinea, East Timor and Singapore. He's set to travel nearly 33,000 kilometres during the trip, and he's scheduled to attend more than 40 events. Our correspondent Jonathan Head has more on the Indonesia stop of this tour.
He's continuing a long-standing policy of the Vatican of upholding the best possible relations with a country which in many ways is a model of multi-faith tolerance. I mean, Indonesia does have the world's largest Muslim population, but it is not an Islamic State. Islam is not the official religion. There are significant minorities, including around 8 million Roman Catholics. And the Indonesian modern state has always accepted a place for all faiths. And so I think it's always seen, given that it's such a large Muslim population, as a sort of showcase of how relations between different faiths can be managed. And in general, most Indonesian governments have stuck to the secular origins of the modern country when it declared independence and made a place for all these religions. And the Vatican has kept significant diplomatic representation there. It's been 35 years since the last visit of a pope, so this Pope, Pope Francis, visits a very different country from the one that his predecessor, but one, Pope John Paul II, visited back in 1989. At that stage, Indonesia was still an authoritarian government. The issue of East Timor, which is a Roman Catholic country, caused a lot of friction between the Vatican and the then Indonesian government. This time round, of course, Pope Francis will be celebrating the openness of Indonesia, but that doesn't mean there aren't problems between faiths in Indonesia. It's always a sensitive issue, managing them. The issue of whether, relations in different parts of Indonesia between Christian and Muslim communities have been strained in recent years when we've had the growth of, for example, of Islamic extremism in the region. Those are all factors that the Pope will be very conscious of as he goes to these very symbolic big meetings, the one in the Istiqlal Mosque tomorrow, the largest mosque in Southeast Asia, the main mosque in Jakarta, to highlight that sort of valuing these relationships between the different faiths, and then a big rally, a big mass to be held in one of the largest stadiums in Jakarta, to which Roman Catholics from all over Indonesia, and many of them are in quite far-flung islands, will travel to come and get this probably for once-in-a-lifetime trip to see a pope.
Our correspondent Jonathan Head there. Well, let's speak now to our reporter in Rome, Davide Giglione. And Davide, given the Pope's age and health concerns, what does it suggest to us about the strategic importance of Asia to the Catholic Church?
Yes, Lakshmi, this region is particularly important for the Catholic Church. Now, the Pope's visit to Asia certainly underscores the concern of the Catholic Church for a region which is both rich in mineral and natural resources and increasingly exposed to social and geopolitical struggles. We do know that the society and the economy and the countries in that region are changing very rapidly. Indonesia, for example, has emerged over the last years as a major producer of nickel, which is one of the key components for batteries for electric vehicles. That has made the country and the region more generally very appealing for international investors, for global powers such as China and Western countries. This is clearly a very important issue for Francis, who is trying to position the Catholic Church as a moral voice in the region to make sure that this transition is fair and sustainable. But a very important aspect for Francis is also climate change. We do know that the region, Indonesia specifically, with its biodiversity, is very exposed to climate change, rising sea levels, rising temperatures. In fact, the country, Indonesia, is moving its capital from Jakarta to Borneo. So again, Pope Francis has been very vocal about climate change and has made climate change one of his priorities. Want to be present there and make sure, again, that the transition is sustainable and fair.
Our reporter Davide Giglione, thank you.